Yeah, great. So thanks for joining us. First question I was going to ask you is, can you tell us about your recent experience at the Kingdom, Taylormade's fitting HQ in Carlsbad, California?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I escaped lockdown in Europe about 2 weeks ago, and I come over to America. I'm playing some Champions Tour events. I've got a lot of work to do with the European Tour, and I'll be doing a bit of work with Sky as well. So it was great to get over to California and see. Obviously, there's restriction measures in place, all kinds of testing and everything before we get to the Kingdom, as you can expect. But once you get there, my relationship with Taylormade goes back a long, long way, back to 1989 when I went to college in San Diego. And back then, the Kingdom was just an idea. I wasn't there, but the factory was in a different place. A guy called Gary Adams had just started the company. It wasn't that old at that stage. And our old college coach was one of the guys that started it with them. So Taylormade sponsored our team, and my association goes all the way back there. And it's great to see so many guys, even a few that still were working for them then are still working for the company now. So it's always great to go back. I go back a lot. A lot of my college friends are still there. They still lived in San Diego. They work in the businesses around San Diego. And when I go back, not alone do I check into Taylormade, but to see all them as well too. So I've seen things evolve over the years, and Taylormade moved to their present site at the moment, and then the Kingdom was built. And to see how every year you go back, it improves time after time, and the technology gets better and better. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's amazing. I brought along my son, who's a really good player, an elite player at college over here. He had no classes at the time; everything is online, so he was able to do his classes. He's at college in America on a golf scholarship, and he came along too, and I got him fitted as well as myself. So it was great to see him with all his ball speed and how they were fitting him, and then me with my slower ball speed. And wanting game improvement stuff and getting the ball in the air easier, where he wanted the blade irons. It was nice to see the contrast for the two of us. And then we did a putting in the indoor studio as well too. And it's great. Look, I've been very fortunate being on tour over the years, and to see how fitting a golf club for an elite player has changed, and for all players has changed. It used to be they used to come out onto the range with 15 drivers, and then you just hit the 15 drivers, and then say, well, tweak this, and then they go away and they'd make another one with another, take one shaft with another head and put it again and back out. And trial and error, took several hours to get right. Now, twist, bomb. Once you get the shaft right, it's twist this, twist that, move the weight, bomb, 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 and you're off to go. And I mean, literally, it takes them 20 minutes now. They know my game so well at this stage. Adrian Rietveld was there, who's on the tour and PGA Tour now, and he was involved a lot with me when I was on the European Tour, knows my game, knows my swing, knows my numbers. And Adrian's able to look at me and look at my ball flight, knows the ball flight that I like. And seriously, within 20 minutes, the driver was set.
Awesome. And what do you notice initially about the new Sim 2 range from Taylormade?
Well, my view, and I know it's a view a lot of the players on tour, is that having used Taylormade pretty much all my career, and seeing all the drivers come through, all the different versions of the driver that we've had over the years, the Sim is the best they've ever come out with. And there's a couple of reasons why I like it. And the main reason I like it is, generally, certainly the top players, you need a little bit more loft to get real value out of the Sim. And the fact that I got now, whereas I used to use an 8.5 degree head, now I'm using the 10.5 degree head, and yet the ball is not popping up in the air, because I'm very visual and I love to look down and I love to see loft on the club head. Now, I don't want to see the ball going straight up in the air. I like to drive it and get on top of it. But the fact that it's got 10.5 degree loft gives me a lot of security that I can really go at this ball as hard as I can for my limited speed, and yet keep the ball flight down and keep it within the numbers on TrackMan that suggests that it's the perfect ball flight for me.
Just out of interest, what sort of club head speed have you got, Paul, with a driver, say?
One ball speed is 155, and I can get up to 157, maybe 158, but I'm struggling to get to 160. That's my goal. The general one is 155.
What's that in driver club head speed?
I don't know. Somebody will have to change that. I don't know. I work more on ball speed. I don't know what it is in terms of club speed.
Got you. And what's going to be in your bag this year? Have you got like a final squad that you picked from already, or is there still stuff to decide?
No, it's all done. I mean, I've never been a big changer of clubs. Even when I played on tour with all the access to the tour truck every week, I never was a guy that changed a lot. The things that I only changed were my wedges, when the grooves got a little bit worn. But generally, I very rarely changed my putter. Once I got the driver at the start of the year, that was me set for the year. I rarely changed it. Once I got fitted, for me, it was the Indian rather than the arrow. And it was a matter of working on my swing if I wasn't playing well, rather than thinking, oh no, I need a new driver, I need this, I need that. The golf ball is obviously really important as well too. And once you're happy with the golf ball, it was up and running, and then try to not lose focus on thinking grass is always greener with a different driver or different that. I know now at this stage that once you get fitted, that's it. So I got everything is sim and the 790 irons, but I used a 4 rescue sim and I used a 3 rescue sim. So my first iron, if you want to call it that, is a 5 iron, right up through the pitch and wedge, and then I got the wedges in play as well too, and I chop and change those a bit depending on the grooves.
What's generally your favourite club over the years? What's the club that you most enjoy using? Is it putter or driver or one of the wedges?
I think driver. I've always been a pretty good driver of the ball, and I was a decent distance when I was on tour. I wasn't one of the bigger hitters, but I wasn't short either. I was above average. So I like driving because I can work the ball comfortably both ways, right to left, left to right, low and high. And I like the challenge of hitting driver. For me, it's probably not as fun now with the driver because other guys hit it so much further than me, and I end up trying to hit the ball harder than I should be trying to hit it because I've become a little bit like everybody, a little bit too consumed with trying to get my ball speed up a bit. And I always figure I play my best when I'm not worried about distance. Distance is something that happens. So when I'm in the mindset of playing shapes of shots, that's when I play my best. So playing with a big hitter, I have to put blinkers on and not look or watch the speed.
Do you still enjoy playing, and what are your plans for this year regarding your own playing then, Paul?
Oh, I love playing. I've always done that. I've never lost my love for playing the game. I love practicing. When I'm at home and I'm in between stuff and I got an hour and a half, I go up to the golf club, I hit a bucket of balls or I chip and putt, I do something. I'm always working on something. In my phone here, I've got all kinds of files here in my notes on what I'm working on in my game. So, and one of the things that I've learned over the years is that it's very easy to get sidetracked from what you worked on. You hit the ball well on the range, you're hitting the ball great, you're all excited, it feels great. You walk away. Even for us, 2 days later, you come back and you think, what was I working on again? I hit the ball great. What did I do? And often you forget. And there's little details that you forget, whether the fact that you forget that you moved the ball back 2 balls in your stance with the driver or something. There's always something. So what I do now, when I've trained myself to do, is put every time I have a practice session, put it down in my phone. So before I go up the next day, I review what I did the previous day. So it's a continuation of doing the same thing over and over. And that's what I've learned most about the game over the years, is that golf is about the fundamentals, but it's about the fundamentals that apply to you. And it's important to keep on the continuity and keep on the train of consistently doing the same things that give you results. It's easy to say, see something in a magazine or watch a fella who gave you a tip and you go off there, and you forget what you were doing when you played well. And, what is the template when you play your best golf? And let's revert back to that.
That's some great advice for our customers there, Paul. Thank you. Where do you play and practice when you're in the UK or Ireland then?
So Sunnydale, I'm a member in Sunnydale and a place called Queenwood. So they're the 2 courses, and I live there in Sunnydale. So literally the practice ground is 150 yards from my house, and Queenwood's only 2 or 3 miles away. So I'm lucky. I've got great facilities there. I'm also an honorary member in Wentworth, and I play there as well. So I'm really lucky. I mean, I'm going to make everybody feel envious when I mention those 3 clubs. And when I'm back in Ireland, my home course is a place called the Grange, which is in the foothills of the Dublin Mountains, just on the edge of the city there. And I'm an honorary member, luckily, in places like Portmarnock and Royal Dublin and those when I'm around Dublin. When I go up to Donegal, where my mum and dad is from, again, lots of links courses up there to play. So I'm fortunate I can kind of play in a lot of places. A lot of places have very nicely made me an honorary member and lets me, go there and bring along guests if I want to go and have a game of golf somewhere. So it's a fortunate position to be in.
I'm sure it's well deserved anyway. What's your favourite golf course and why, Paul?
My favourite golf course is Cypress Point. anybody's got a chance to play over there. I mean, I'm a great believer in golf courses are not just about the holes and the shots you have to play. It's also about the ambience, also about the aesthetics, also about the framing, also about the backdrop. And, you know, there's nowhere much better than Cypress Point from that point of view. I mean, I just love the design. I love everything about it, the variety of holes, the fact that it's quite windy. I love courses that are quite windy. I like the wind. The wind is my friend. And I love the fact that I use the wind as my friend, and I bank the ball against it with my iron shots, and I try to drive it. The wind's off the right. I try to drive it right to left shape and try to get it chasing down the fairway, or left to right, vice versa. So I love it. And I wish professional golf played in more windy venues, because for me, that really makes the elite player stand out and the skill set a whole lot better than just generic A to B with no wind, soft fairways, soft greens, and then it's just a big hitting bombers, you know, calculate by computer, and you just hit it like that. And I love the variability. That's why I love links golf courses, and that's why my favorite tournament to watch professional and to play in was the Open Championship with the links golf courses. So that would be my answer over there. Back in Britain and Ireland, it's got to be Sunnydale. I love Sunnydale. I love Harry Colton, you know, his designs, and I like the fact that he gives you options to chase the ball onto the green as well. So if you get out of position, you're in the heather, or you're in a, you know, kind of in a bit of rough, and he gives you an opportunity of, you know, getting on top of it and using 40, 50 yards of drive to get the ball chasing in there. And, you know, that heathland golf course, normally it's dry. Even in the wintertime, it's relatively dry, and you can do that around there. So I love the options that Sunnydale gives you. I love golf course that gives you options in how to play. I don't particularly like golf courses where you hit it, as I say, from A to B, and then you have to carry it 170 yards over water. Now, I know, you know, for me, that shouldn't be that intimidating, and it's not generally, but for amateurs, it is. And I'm not in agreement of forcing people to have only one option. I love the fact that you can chase it in there that way, or chase it in this way, or play it in elevated, and, you know, use the wind to bank it to get to a pin position. That's what I love most about the game.
Fantastic. Am I right in saying you're now an ambassador for the Legends Tour?
Yeah.
That was the European Seniors Tour. It's just been rebranded. Will you play in some of those events, do you think, this year, Paul?
Absolutely, COVID dependent. You know, hopefully we get back on the golf course sooner rather than later in these tournaments. You know, international travel at the moment is a massive challenge. I'm on the board of the European Tour, and we've got massive scheduling challenges going on at the moment as these restrictions seem to be getting tighter and tighter in terms of traveling from country to country. And, you know, there's not many worse businesses to be in than the professional golf tours at the moment, where, you know, players all come from different countries. You know, we've players from Australia, we've players from New Zealand, we've players from South Africa, we've players from America, you know, we've players from all different countries. And then we're also trying to move around different countries with different restrictions. If you're from South Africa, you can't come in, but if you're from UK, you can, but you got to do quarantining. So there's huge challenges going on at the moment. And I think, you know, we're going to have the same problems on the Legends Tour. So hopefully sooner rather than later, as these vaccines roll out, these restrictions start to be lifted, and we can go back to international traveling again. But yeah, I still love to play. Of all the things that I do at the moment, I still love to play more than anything. And I'm hoping I do get a chance to play. You know, I've only kind of averaged 6 or 7 events per year since I turned 50. I'm 54 now, maybe even not that many. And I'm certainly hoping to play more than that this year.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you play well. Are we going to
So
see?
do I.
Are we going to see a lot of you on Sky Sports this year? And will you be covering all the majors?
Yeah, I do 11 events a year for Sky. I love the role in there. I love the team that we do. Every morning I wake up, even when I'm not working with Sky, like I'm watching all the websites. I'm taking down information. I'm creating a file again, and so I'm up to date with everything that's happening. And then, you know, getting ready for a tournament like this week, I'm doing a concession in the World Golf Championship in Tampa, and you know, just updating all of my files and getting up to date where everybody is and where the form is. I haven't seen the golf course yet, so I'm going over there early. I'm going to walk the golf course, analyze it, see what kind of style of player is going to suit, what the challenge is going to be. So I really enjoy my role in Sky. They're great to work for, a great team. Everybody works so incredibly hard, and you know, you see us on the screen, but you got to remember there's a huge team behind it, and the output. You know, a lot of our output is because of the hard work that they do. And obviously, we got massive restrictions in Sky as well, in terms of traveling. And that team, a lot of it now has to be based in London. You know, we covered all the majors last year based in London, and as you can imagine, that brings out a whole lot of challenges as well too. So we're surmounting them, working around it. We're all looking forward to the days when we go back traveling to events again.
I can imagine. I really enjoy watching the Sky Sports coverage from you guys. It's great. As a Ryder Cup legend that we know you for, just got to finish off by asking you, obviously you captained the winning team in 2014 and you're on the winning team in the 3 that you played in. But you did actually hold a winning putt in the Ryder Cup in 2002. Just exactly how did that feel?
How did one feel against the other, or
no? Just how did it feel? Well, yeah, okay, yeah, both. How did both feel? Which, you know, differently. But can you just describe the feelings for both?
Two very different feelings. You know, the one of captaincy was just really quiet, unrequited feelings of job well done, accomplishment. You know, the captain in the ship steering the ship, but you know, all I'm doing is steering. It's the guys behind her putting the heavyweight in and giving them a bit of structure, giving them a platform to go, putting them together with pairings based on statistics and all of those things coming off and winning. So a real sense of accomplishment, not just for the team and the players and the caddies and the backroom team. We had 72 people as part of that backroom team. Believe it, it shows you how a Ryder Cup team is not just the players, but a sense of accomplishment for everybody who supported and everybody from Europe and all the fans and everybody watching on TV and all the various countries. They get such a thrill out of seeing Europe take down America. So that was just a real quiet satisfaction that you were kind of the captain, as I say, steering that ship. In terms of being a player, you come at it from a very different point of view. You're more concerned with your role within the team and how you can carry out your duty within the team. I love the team meetings. I love listening to guys have insights like Monty, like Westwood, like Sergio, you know, like Darren, all speaking, you know, more experienced players than I was at the time, speaking at team meetings and how their input and how they saw it and, you know, putting that together, brilliantly captained by Sam, and culminating in me being able to put the cherry on top. You know, I wasn't the guy that did the heavy lifting that week. You know, Monty and Westwood and Olazabal and, you know, all of those kind of guys who were the guys that play 5 matches. You know, they're the guys who do the heavy lifting. And then it's the guys coming along like me that are able to hold a win and put the cherry on top. And that's kind of how it was. Yeah, I played really well in the matches I played. And yeah, I played really well against Jim Furyk in singles. And, you know, the way Sam captained me and the way he told me going over the bridge, knowing that it wasn't going to burden me, it was going to energize me. You know, he knew me much better than I knew myself at that stage. He knew what words to use. He treated it as fun. As I walked up to the 18th green and all the crowds around and had a pull hook with a 3-iron left of the green and, you know, anticipation of knowing how close it is. For Sam then to meet me on the bridge with this, you know, body language is really important as a captain. And he had his, I remember him, he had his sweater over his t-shirt and standing with his arms folded, leaning against the bridge with this massive smile on his face. He's like, isn't this the greatest thing ever? And immediately he disarms your nerves with his body language. And then, you know, putting his arm on my shoulder, walking across the bridge, you know, quietly telling me up and down on a par will win the Ryder Cup for us. You know, we can get a half point. And rather than me walking away from that, then thinking up to the green, thinking, oh my God, the Ryder Cup's on me, or I can win this half a point. I felt the opposite. I felt energized. I felt really felt like I was going to get it done. Empowered is the word I was looking for, and going ahead and doing it. And then it's like I said at the press conference afterwards. I don't know where I got the idea, but I still hold it to this name. It was like getting a bottle of champagne, shaking it, and that's how I felt inside. Incredibly nervous before I hit the putt. Incredibly anticipatory of, you know, what's going to happen. Did I know I was going to hold a putt? No, but I did know I was going to hit a great putt. And almost that was good enough for me. The fact that I was going to stand up to this occasion and hit a great putt. Now, from 12 feet, you can never guarantee you're going to hold a putt because you could hit a pitch mark, you could misread it, you could hit it the wrong speed, it could lip out. You don't know. All kinds of scenarios could happen. But what I did know was I was going to hit a great putt. And that kind of unburdened me. And I was energized, as I say, and empowered. And I hit a brilliant putt. I couldn't, even if it hadn't gone in, there would have been a real satisfaction that I hit a brilliant putt. And this thing came off the middle of the putter, sweet as a nut. I couldn't have hit it any better. It was a big break from about 3 balls, maybe a cup left to right. and it was breaking hard, and I had to hit it at the perfect speed. And you know the way you hit a putt and it's got a destination written all over it the minute it leaves the putter head, and that's what this one had. And as I looked up, the ball was tracking 2 feet from the hole and just breaking beautifully in at perfect speed, and it went right in the center of the hole at perfect speed. And then as I threw my arms in the air, it was like the cork and the champagne came off, and all those feelings inside just exploded in this incredible euphoria and joy. You know, a feeling that I've never ever had to that level before. It really was an incredible feeling. I hope everybody gets the chance to enjoy some feeling like that. It mightn't be for Hudden win a putt and a Ryder Cup, obviously, but for something else in their life, because the euphoria was just something sensational. Even winning tournaments and winning other Ryder Cups didn't have that kind of euphoria, because it was built up, and then exploded in that 1 second. Because I wasn't ahead of myself thinking, oh, if I make this, if I do this. I knew it was a stake, but I was so focused on hitting a good putt that I didn't let myself get 3 seconds ahead of what I'm trying to say is I was really caught up in the process of hitting a putt rather than trying to hold a Ryder Cup winning putt.
Great advice for anybody trying to win anything golf-wise, whether it's the medal or the Ryder Cup, I suppose. Paul, that's absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for your time. Do appreciate it, and all the best for this year on the golf course. Sounds like you're up for playing a bit if you can.
If I get the chance, yeah, with all my new equipment as well too. I've been fitted in California a few weeks ago, and I'm ready to go. Yeah, ready to go, chomping at the bit.
Excellent. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks, John. All the best. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.